Hello and welcome everybody to the Joint League season number 3. It's going to be a tiebreaker game, as in a best of one between MiTH, Trust as well as Insidious. Whoever wins this will get the 4th position in the group stage, as in the last team to actually enter the playoffs, together with Titan, First Departure and Invasion. Whoever wins this will be in the quarterfinal up against Invasion, with First Departure waiting in the semifinals and Titan in the grand final. But in any case, we're in the draft. We're of course HeflaTV, I'm Coucher, and I'm joined by Mike Lores today.
Hey, it's important to keep in mind that this is only a best of one, so that means any janky strategy that you could pull out, the more surprised the enemy will be and the less that they can react to it, the more effective it's going to be. Because all you need to do is just win one game to get yourself to the finals, otherwise you're just going to chill, and that's pretty much it for you. So, because it is also a tiebreaker, these teams are inherently going to be very even against one another, and just taking a quick look at their match history against each other, it's pretty even. It's like Insidious 2-0ing, then MiTH Trust 2-0ing. So really, it's going to be a complete toss-up, and that is the best kind of Dota. With Death Prophet to start off, followed up with the Razor. Wouldn't be surprised to see a support hero picked here from Insidious. It should be a very even, nice, tight game.
Yeah, it definitely should, and well, you were spot on. ShadowShaman was the secondary pick here. Although in CSL they are running with 2 stand-ins, I do believe they've used Polo's Son a little bit more often than Chibix. Both of them though ex-Scythe players. But I mean, they're definitely up there in skill level. And in Insidious, to be honest, they started off the season a little bit wonky, but by the end of it they definitely gained just speed and actually, I mean, their skill level as well. They were a rather new team, I guess, just formed after the end of season 2 pretty much. So always nice to see just even games as MiTH. Will they go for something push heavy now, picking up something like a Nature's Prophet, or Skyraf Mage is still a possibility, I guess?
Yeah, with the Death Prophet, they could go in multiple different directions. They could go deep into the push tank, and they use Exorcism to take down towers continuously, just apply that pressure every time you have Exorcism up. Or they could take it a little bit longer and pick up something a little bit more team fighty along the lines of a Tide Hunter, and then just try to take those nice fights and then use the Exorcism or whatever they have left in order to take towers following a devastating team fight. It's, at this point, just a toss-up as to what the team prefers to do, and unfortunately I don't know enough about MiTH to really predict what direction they're going to go, so as far as that's concerned, it's up in the air.
Yeah, I can't really say either. All I know that Lakels used to love a Morphling. Of course, nowadays Morphling isn't all that strong, but if a team is about to run, it's probably MiTH Trust. At the moment though, secondary pick. They're taking their time. Even a Brewmaster is still available if they want to just get some mid-game teamfight control for themselves. Of course, that would mean something like a safe lane or off lane Brewmaster, which can be strong, especially the safe lane one. Off lane is like so depending on what the enemy actually has to put up against it, but we'll see. 30 seconds left. They don't have too much actually going for them.
Yeah, they're kind of running out of time here. Brewmaster is going to be the pick, it looks like. So Death Prophet Brewmaster is going to orient themselves more towards that team fighting camp other than the push camp. So once the fights start going between Exorcism and the Brewmaster split, they'll have quite a lot of presence. Whereas Insidious, not as much. They're going to be more so the single target focus, kind of just get picks and try to avoid the massive team fights for now. MiTH Trust, they're actually going to ban out the Tide Hunter, so it looks like they are going to be preparing for a solo lane Brewmaster. They just want to make sure his laning phase is as easy as possible.
Yeah, I mean, they still have the potential to go for an aggressive tri-lane if they really want to. Of course, in CSI, having a Razor and Shadow Shaman, if they want to just maybe even pick up something like Ancient Apparition as the 3rd one, could be a pretty sick tri-lane for themselves as well. I mean, whenever you have free ranged heroes with the Ancient Apparition having Chilling Touch, it's never a good time for the enemy almost.
Yeah, it's really hard to overcome that damage. Like, I don't really care what tri-lane you have to compete against that. The Chilling Touch tri-lane is probably going to win just because it is so powerful. MiTH Trust, they are going to continue to take out these very tanky heroes in the Tide Hunter and the Bristleback. I think Brewmaster could have done fine versus the Bristleback, but I don't know, there has to be something else going on here. Usually we don't see this much focus towards these super tanky heroes when you have heroes like Skywrath Mage still in the pool that you could ban out and eliminate the Shadow Shaman Skywrath Mage combination. So MiTH Trust, they're definitely scared of a very tanky tri-lane or very tanky off-lane to compete against either their Brewmaster or whoever else they're going to put into that lane.
Yeah, I mean, Rift, they definitely must have something planned. Maybe they aren't going for the craziest amount of burst, just some sustained damage. Although, what they could go for it. I mean, Tinker is still available as well, but Tinker has the crazy amounts of burst even to deal with Tide Hunter and Bristleback. Although, if you have the choice between just bursting him up with one set of abilities rather than two, then one is always better, but we'll see what they want to go for. If MiTH pick up a Tinker, it's going to be extremely greedy and just leave their lanes is a little bit weird, but Jakiro the last ban for Insidious and immediate Skywrath Mage pickup.
Well, can't say I blame Insidious. The Skywrath Mage Shadow Shaman combination is two of the most powerful range support heroes at the moment, and when you put them together, they do perform very, very well because you do have so much set up for the Skywrath Mage to dump all of his damage, whether it's pre-level 6 or post-level 6. This Shadow Shaman will hold people out so you could absolutely destroy them. And they also have a lot of poking potential as well. Just outside of going for actual kills, just right-clicking from a range is going to be very useful for the Insidious side. They're still kind of in the middle of the road, and their draft hasn't really taken a particular direction, but that's completely fine. I would expect something like a Centaur around those lines to be picked up from Insidious to try to get a little bit more power for their team.
Yeah, Centaur definitely won't be bad. I mean, Stampede is just such a great ability overall, as well as just more damage. Ancient Seal boosting up the double edge. Definitely a nice combination, but Shadow Demon to pick for MiTH Trust. And, well, they can still go either way with this. They can pick up something like a Mirana to combo it up with. Have +1, just Shadow Demon Mirana, maybe +1 in an aggressive tri lane, if they don't want to send the Brewmaster off lane solo. Or, I mean, I still expect Mirana to come out. What the rest will be, don't know yet.
Well, Brewmaster tri-lanes are pretty strong. It's not the most common of things, but setting up for a clap is something that's perfectly viable, and it's viable enough to the point where you would sometimes see Brewmasters being played as supports. You just have Shadow Demon put them in the bubble, then Brewmaster slowly walks up and claps, and then you just beat down from there. But MiTH Trust, yeah, I will expect some other setup with this Shadow Demon, whether it be Mirana or something along the lines of Kunkka. Either one would be pretty nice here, depending on what they really want to do. And Insidious, they are going to go for that Centaur, so lots more tanky heroes on their team.
Yeah, plus of course having any kind of lockdown up against Brewmaster is always going to be nice. And between Shadow Shaman, Skywrath and the Centaur, they actually should be able to prevent the Brewmaster from getting the Primal Split. And well, MiTH Trust, they do go for their Morphling, man. They just love that hero, at least Lakels does. And since Lakels, he's drafting at the moment, then he's just, yeah, gimme guys, gimme.
Well, Morphling does have to worry about two supports packing all the disables, the Ancient Seal, as well as Shadow Shaman. Centaur Warrunner Blink Stomp could be devastating later on once he does get that Blink Dagger. So Morphling is not going to have the most secure game, but that's fine. I mean, he has Strength Morph, and eventually he'll be able to waveform out of those. And shotgun targets, Skywrath Mage, Shadow Shaman down the line are going to be pretty vulnerable, so it's not the worst pick in the world, but I would rather like to see them pick up their support duo with the Shadow Demon if it's not going to be Shadow Demon Brewmaster.
Yeah, it's... I mean, in CSL they did ban out Elishrak, so eliminating one of the possibilities. I'm still hoping for Elina because that hero just almost never gets played. But yeah, my hopes are slowly diminishing. I guess something like a Sand King, if they want to just go for defensive tri lane, wouldn't be too bad potentially. Just Shadow Demon buying some time with the disruption for that level 1 Burrow Strike to actually get in range. Or I guess even an Earthshaker wouldn't be all that bad of a hero all in all.
Yeah, really, I think the minimum requirement for the last pick for MiTH is that it has to have a stun, because right now they don't have any. They have the Rock from Brewmaster split, and they have a Disruption, which isn't really a stun, so they're going to need something to just keep people in place, especially when you're talking about a Centaur Warrunner, who is going to get his team out of trouble most of the time should the Brewmaster Blink Clap split just with the Stampede. So you need some lockdown, whether that's a Sand King or an Earthshaker. I don't really think it makes that much of a difference in the end. They just need someone who could lock down something.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you there. I've seen so many times when teams run a really stun light lineup, like maybe having one stun or something, and they get punished so damn often. Especially like you mentioned, the Centaur being on the other side as well makes it even easier for Insidious to escape, so they can actually potentially even run away instead of TPing. And we will see Insidious themselves. About 15 seconds left now in the reserve time. They do have the two supports. They need either a mid laner or a tri-lane core at the moment. I mean, what could they even go for here? Well, Storm Spirit. I like the pick because, well, it's aggressive first of all, and don't see him all that often nowadays.
Yeah, and Storm Spirit is a hero that could certainly take advantage of the fact that MiTH Trust don't have any of those stuns. You need a silence or something to deal with the storm. Otherwise, you're just going to just demolish your team. Even though you may have split, even though you may have Morphling and Disruption, the Storm Spirit is going to have the time of his life. It would have been That pick or something like a Weaver would have also been pretty good for Insidious, again, to make use of the lack of Myth stuns. Either way, Myth Trust, they're going to need stuns now more than ever. And Death Prophet, she's going to need to farm up a Storm and get a Sheep Stick or an Orchid or something like that, because right now they're just too disable light for the Storm Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, any disables are gonna be good, but I really like just picking up heroes as such when you know your enemy doesn't have too many stuns. And well, Sand King will be the pick, so MiTH Trust, I would expect them to run a defensive tri-lane for sure at the moment, just to make sure Sand King can actually get guaranteed farm, stack up the jungle and farm it up. But if it's gonna be like that, is it gonna be Brewmaster solo offlane, and how well can he actually do up against what Insidious has to throw at them?
Well, it really depends on what he finds up against his tri-lane. If it's a Brewmaster versus Centaur lane, then he should be just fine. Centaur, I think, is a little bit more potent in that lane, but with Drunken Brawler, as well as the Haze, if he does want to go for that route, he should be able to just, be completely fine. Especially if he gets a very early rotation from the Shadow Demon Sand King, which is what I'm expecting to see from Myth. Just from level 1, try to go for a kill with a Disruption, Burrow Strike, and a Clap. That combination is enough to kill pretty much any hero, assuming that you don't get stomped or disabled when you try to kill him. So that'll give the Sand King a nice little boost, and that's probably going to be what Myth are trying to do with the support duo. They could just be it super defensively and have the Sand King pull to his level 3, but it's a lot easier if you just get that first blood and start at, 1.5 levels in.
Yeah, I mean, first blood is always the thing the supports are aiming at, just getting on any given lane. Wouldn't really surprise me if they even started in the aggressive tri-lane, in a sense, just them waiting at the side chop, for example, waiting for the perfect opportunity or something like that. But go has been given, at least by one side, and Insidious Idols, they are not ready yet. But we can just take this time to go over the lineups. As for Insidious Idols, on the Radiant side, Ysera will be playing the Storm Spirit with Poloson. On the Skyrift Mage, Shagasaurus, the offlane, Center Warlander, with Chu on the Razor and Chibix to play the Shadow Shaman as the last one.
On the Myth side, we got MyPro, who's going to be handling the Death Prophet. Usumer is going to be heading mid. Lakels is going to be on that Morphling. Naki is going to be supporting on the Shadow Demon along with SD's Sand King. And that leaves KYT on the Brewmaster, who we're thinking is going to go towards the bottom lane. It could just be an aggressive tri-lane in general with the Morphling, Sand King, and the Shadow Demon, though I think it's probably a little bit better if you just keep it a little bit defensive and if Myth plays it a little bit slower.
Yeah, I would just expect that and prefer that as well, to be honest. Just because Sand King, he is so good in his own jungle, as well as if the aggressive tri-lane doesn't work out, especially considering how strong Insidious Idols' own could be, but we still might see a tri-lane versus tri-lane situation since Insidious Idol, they are going towards the top side with all 5 of their heroes. And I actually wouldn't be all that surprised if they left behind the tri-lane, since a triple range tri-lane is definitely pretty damn strong, and that way you can make sure that the Sand King doesn't even have time to stack and think about farming it up.
Yeah, Sand King, fortunately for him, does have Burrow Strike, so expecting this tri-lane potentially, he is prepared in that he will be able to land Burrow Strikes even though the cast range is absolute garbage. So yeah, SD is going to be kind of prepared for this, but at the same time, Insidious's tri-lane is just a little bit stronger. Like, if they leave Storm Spirit, Razor, or Centaur up here, I don't really think it matters as to their strength of their lane, as it's going to be devastating no matter what. So we'll see what actually sticks once they all, dissolve and go back to their respective lanes. It looks like it's going to be Razor who's going to be heading towards the bottom lane potentially with the Storm Spirit mid. Really, this Brewmaster is not going to have a great time if it does end up being a Razor match at 1v1. It's going to be very difficult for him to survive, let alone get last hits.
Yeah, I mean, Razor is just such a lane bully up against any melee hero, really. Even up against most ranged heroes, to be honest. And he did start with boots, which, thank God, KYT has actually as well. So until a few points into unstable current, KYT should be able to outrun the static link at the very least. But yeah, like you said, going to be a really bad lane for him. He's just gonna have to play so damn well to have the upper hand. Well, he's definitely not gonna have the upper hand anyway, even if he plays it just 100% correct, I think. But
I think it's gonna be rough lanes not only for him but for everyone on Myth. MyPro should be just fine versus the Storm Spirit. That's the only lane where I would say Myth have an advantage. But up top, this aggressive tri-lane is so deadly. Even if you do have a Morphling with eventual waveform, there's a lot of silence and a lot of lockdown. And already they're looking for Lakels. They're waiting in the secret shop. The play that we expected to come from Myth, coming out from Insidious. There's a stomp onto Lakels. Shackle should be following up shortly, although I don't even know if it's necessary. They will hold on to it. Now Chibix will use it. Seeing the disruption is down, Lakels just going to be beaten down. This is going to be first blood, drawn by the Centaur.
yeah, just such an easy setup, to be honest. And I thought like Morphling, maybe if he has the waveform he can escape, but then I looked at him, already had skilled off that morph before, so unfortunate for them, and look at Morphling sitting at 359 HP now. Oh man, if he ever gets caught again, he's just gonna go down so damn fast. Level 1 morph, your strength morph is just so damn slow, to be honest, that there's really no chance of escaping, especially now that there's actually an Ether Shock as well from Chibix.
This is awfully bold from Legels. It's going to be a gambit so that he gets farm at the expense of his safety, and that might be worth it, as Ysera is actually dropping very low, and they do have a Sand King waiting in the wings. Ysera might just be dead right here. Burst Strike is going to land, right clicks, and a Crypt Storm. Death Prophet is going to get a kill on Ysera with a little help of SD. That's going to bring the Sand King up to level 2, and I think it's probably really good the Sand King left the top lane and decided to roam. Really, if he stayed up here, he probably wouldn't be able to help at all.
Yeah, it's really smart, and of course, between the rotations he's trying to stack up the jungle as well a little bit. Already double stack on the big camp, gonna get it a 1-1, most likely at the very least. Yes, it's gonna be a success, so... I mean, 2 minutes in, having a triple stack already is pretty damn nice, but there's a smoke from Chibix and Polosan. Do they have concussive shot? No, they do not, unfortunately. They're gonna check the camp status. Do they actually... I guess between a double H as well as the static remnant of Storm Spirit, they can even steal the camps at some point, if MiTH aren't careful. But disruption onto Shagasaurus. SD gonna get into position with the burst, like perfectly landed, but Shagasaurus is just so tanky. No hoofstomp yet, but doesn't really even need it. There's the hoofstomp onto 2. Skyref Mage coming in as well. SD completely out of mana, not even enough for his Sandstorm. And Chibix, can he get in range? There's no boots on the Shadow Shaman Shackles, maybe Ether Shock, anything at all. I think they're gonna get the kill on Shadow SD. Come on, waveform through onto Polosan as well. There's the Shackles onto Lakel Shagasaurus. He has the double edge. They get 2 kills, and well, this tri-lane is an epic disaster for MiTH.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the only way to put it. They tried to go for a Centaur kill, which, you know, when you're going up against 3 versus 1, usually you feel pretty good about your odds. Not the case when you're going up against Centaur. This dude is really big, and it'll take a lot more than a level 1 Burst Strike to kill him off. So MiTH, they're gonna have to play this a little bit slower, as I said before. I thought that Insidious were going to just, you know, sentry ward these camps so that the Sand King is not gonna be able to kill these off, but either way, it's going to result in Insidious getting a couple more kills for their tri-lane, and Centaur having pretty much just as good a time as Razor. He's actually having more CS than the Razor in the offensive tri-lane, dealing with 3 heroes as opposed to just 1. So bottom lane is going fantastically for Insidious, as is the top lane. Even though Storm Spirit may not be really pulling his weight just yet, he's going to get there eventually, because he's still farming well enough, despite the fact that he did give up kills to Death Prophet. So MiTH, they're going to have to pull something really big out a little bit later, but right now they have to worry about not losing anyone else.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, especially now that Chibix and Polosan, they're on the hunt once again to other lanes. Probably going for the bottom lane, and I actually really love if they go through the river completely, since otherwise they're going to get spotted by this Observer Ward, which doesn't give any vision at all into the river pretty much. So if they can get KYT here on the Brewmaster before he gets his Primal Split, it's going to be huge, but KYT, he's already backing off, he sees Chibix, so I think it's going to be fine.
They're going to concuss a shot anyway, just put a little bit of damage onto him. Fortunately for KYT, I don't really think he's in that much trouble of dying outside of these rotations, but he's really struggling in this lane because of the fact that Static Link 100% shuts him down. Eventually, when he gets split, he will be almost 100% safe in this lane, but he will not be able to get a kill on Razor. Just with the split alone, he's going to have to take a lot of harassment beforehand, and I don't know if Brewmaster is actually capable of doing that. Polosan and Chibix, they're going to start roaming towards the mid lane. Ysera is in the area, but only level 5 Storm Spirit isn't really that impressive, and they don't know that the Shadow Demon is invisible, although they might know he's around. They're going to go for MiPro regardless, pulling him back in, instantly gets put into the bubble, but here comes Chibix from the side. He'll land a Shackle very easily, or just a Shock Hex in MiPro and then kill him off that way. Now they're going to look towards Nucky. If the Shackle lands, he will die, but I don't know if it will, because SD is here. He's going to land a one-man Burrow Strike onto Chibix. They're going to try to turn this one around and kill the Shadow Shaman. They're not going to be able to do so. They're going to lose the Sand King, and they're going to lose the Shadow Demon as well. That's another 3 kills going for Insidious, and, well, they all drop pretty low, but no one dies. They all get to walk home, all safe and sound.
Oh well, man, this game might be escalating pretty damn quickly. I mean, Storm Spirit is level 6 now, actually ahead of MiPro, although MiPro, they were the ones getting the kill first on the Ysera. Plus, of course, any kills for Storm Spirit is gonna be so damn good, since he is such a heavily momentum-based hero, really. And do you think he's gonna go for... Oh, never mind, going for power trades. I thought, like, maybe sometimes people like to go Arcane Boots into Bloodstone or something, but I really prefer the just trades into Orchid anyway.
Yeah, you can't really underestimate the right-click damage of the Storm, as KYT on the bottom lane is in quite a bit of trouble, too. drained out a good amount of damage, 42, not too terrible, and really putting the screws to the Brewmaster. But yeah, I think I like the treads as well. Like, I'm a scrub at Storm Spirit, so I always go Arcane Boots, but yeah, it's the build that amplifies your right click a lot more, and really the right click from Storm Spirit is what matters. The right click with the overload, it's what gets you the kills. So he should be going for an Orchid straight after, and silencing the Morphling is going to be incredibly useful for Insidious, and they're going to try to go for another round up on top lane. If they land any sort of disable or silence on this Morphling, they can bring him down. There's no Blink Dagger on the Centaur, so actually landing this is going to be difficult, although they will get it with the Hex, and the Shackle silences on him as well, and he will go down very easily, stomped into the ground by the Centaur, and MiTH 7-1, 6 minutes in. It's pretty much the worst start you could possibly ask for.
Hits, and look at Chegasaurus' bank as well. 1.7k in the bank, almost 1.8 even. So he's gonna have his Blink Dagger by like 8 minutes in probably, unless he just dies in the next minute or so. So man, it's looking way too good for them, to be honest. If you're MiTH, you have to be scared. You're like, yeah, we have a Morphling, so in theory we have some late game superiority, but it's not like the Morphling has anything at the moment.
A late game hero is only going to be a late game hero if he has any sort of farm, and that's not the case. It's not going to be the case for a long time. Bottom lane Chu's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to try to go on to KYT, and all the damage has been drained out of the Brewmaster, but the support is here. Naki going to get dropped all the way to half due to that Plaza Field, but it won't really matter because SD is going to come in at the perfect time to Burst Strike. Level 3 now. It's going to give him that kill and just put him a little bit closer to his Blink Dagger. Unfortunately, MiPro rotation also down to the bot lane is going to do nothing because he doesn't have any exorcism, though he does have Witchcraft level 4. So it's going to be like a little bit of an awkward standoff down here.
Yeah, it's no exorcism, definitely makes it harder to push. Actually, Skyriff Mage was killed by the Dire, so the tower must have gotten him when I tried to go for Lakels and Chipix. Oh, he wanted to go in! Oh, he just wanted to Weather Shock, that's all he wanted. But Lakels, Waveform, suddenly Morphling getting some pretty nice gold for himself, I guess.
Yeah, it really helps. Oh, here comes Storm Spirit, though. Maybe it's not going to stick, though. He will go down to Storm Spirit, going to give you Sarah a killing spree, but it is really nice when you're the enemy hard carry and the enemies are just kind of walking into you one at a time. That's really the dream. Centaur tried to turn around with a Hoof Stomp Double Edge to kill off the Morphling, but the Strength Morph kept him alive, and at that point the Centaur was dropped to 1 HP because of the Double Edge, and it was a really awkward situation where he had to try to fight or else he would have just given up the kill for free. So MiTH Trust, they get a really nice freebie, and it's definitely going to help them. They also take the tower and get the Blink Dagger on Sand King. So off of those series of events, within the span of 1 minute, all of a sudden MiTH are looking a lot better in this game.
Yeah, and Sand King has a Blink Dagger, so that's probably like 8 minutes in. How the hell did he get it that fast, considering the way things started for MiTH? It is beyond me. Some nice stacking and farming that up, but now another smoke. KYT comes in on the Brewmaster with Noki on the Shadow Demon. Chibix, man, it should be such an easy kill. I mean, it's only a Shadow Demon, Shadow Shaman rather. Just 335 movement speed, but top lane kills. That's the P comes out Gisera. They get the stun, silence up as well. Hoof Stomp, Double Edge. They bring him down, and mid lane, Chibix managed to run away as well. They will lose the tier 1 probably to the exorcism though. Or will they actually? Hex gonna come in. Edershock as well, Shackles to follow up. There's the Blink, Epicenter with the Burrow Strike. Lands only onto one. Gisera still alive somehow. They will get MiPro with the Double Edge. Gisera actually goes down as well to the Shadow Demon with the Shadow Poison and Chegasaurus now. Boulder toast up. Might even fall here. SD, he's so low as well. Can't even Burrow Strike. Yeah, he actually blinks away. Thank God for that. He would have overstayed his welcome. But Chegasaurus will lose his life. And they might get even Skyriff Mage here. Plasma Field though. Catches off the Sand King. And now Polosan, he's on the run from KYT. Silences there. Mech through. And Chew is going to be fine. Just TP out from KYT. Actually, no TP. Hexed up. They have Edershock, Shackles as well. And I think Chew with all the damage stolen, they're going to get the kill on Brew. Or are they actually? No! Edershock, last Arcane Balls, or Concussive Shot even. Man, these trades.
Yeah, those trades only made possible because the Sand King had a Blink Dagger, charging up an Epicenter as soon as his friendly Death Prophet got hexed up, and it didn't really do the most damage to the most people. It wasn't like that huge 5-man Dota Cinema Epicenter that MiTH Trust really wanted, but still, it was a lot of damage, and it caught Insidious by surprise, and sometimes it's really just all you need. You have to make sure that the enemy are not going to be aware of this huge AoE ultimate that's going to be coming towards them. And well, it is going to be a much more even trade than I thought. MiTH Trust are still doing relatively okay in this game. They're going to find Chibix, or MiPro is going to find Chibix, it seems, and they're going to try chase each other down with the Crypt Swarm and the Phase Boot damage. It's going to be more than enough for MiPro to take a very easy kill, kind of taking revenge for the fact that Shadow Demon stole her rune.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really even try to ward trap their Prophet since he does have the face put, so he could actually get out of them. Oh, but Stampede, Blink, Hoofstomp, Mystic Flare on top of Lakels as well. Can they actually get the kill? Nope, they cannot. There's the Burrow Strike on Shagasaurus and, well, wait for him to get the kill. Just the turnarounds, 12 to 10. Actually, Death Prophet goes down mid lane, Ysera just gets the solo kill like that. But, I mean, 13 to 10, still, I think MiTH, they are doing way better than was to be expected of them, considering the start that they had.
Yeah, definitely getting these kills is going to help a lot. I'm actually really surprised that Insidious weren't able to take that kill. With Mystic Flare and Double Edge, usually you can kill off anyone, but they're going to actually try to make a defense up top. Razor's going to teleport in first. The tower is in deny range at this point. He's going to start stealing damage from the Shadow Demon. The tower's going to be destroyed by the Dire, and Chu's taking literally no damage thus far. Here comes the Scarith Mage to help out. Can land the silence. I think that's onto the kills, but here comes the Epicenter. Going to be channeled and Burrow Strike. Only hitting onto Blossom, but it will kill him off. And Chu following shortly after. Shagasaurus now is going to be a lot of trouble as he does get cursed up, and the Brewmaster split is there as well. SD does not have any more mana to do anything, but I don't even think it's necessary. Shagasaurus is going to try to run away from a Brewmaster, but good luck doing that. Another rock is going to fly. Between Magic Stick, it's not going to be enough. Brewmaster is going to get yet another kill on MiTH, make another 3-for-1 trade. They're slowly but surely clawing their way back into this game, and I would say at this point, they pretty much made up the difference, or most of the difference.
Oh man, I just loved how Sand King came in with the blink in the end, just one claw right click on the centaur and just backing off straight away just to make sure they won't get hoofstomped. But man, MiTH, they are taking excellent fights at the moment. The Sand King, like you mentioned, just unfortunately didn't hit the double Burrow Strike, but didn't even need it since the Thunderclap from Brewmaster came through. And they're going for Roshan now as well. They don't have any minus armor, I think. Yeah, Noki just has himself double Sage's Mask, probably one into Earth and one into the Medallion of Courage later on. But can they do Roshan? It's taking them longer than maybe expected. They're dropping low, but they do have a bottle on my pro at least to just heal up afterwards.
Yeah, they have enough to do this, although if Insidious were aware of this, then MiTH just would definitely not be capable. Here comes Ysera from the side, looking for a steal, is going to jump right in. Roshan is still alive, Burrow Strike onto Ysera. Ysera is dropping pretty low, he's going to be forced to zip out, but he can't go anywhere. He has to steal this Aegis, but he's going to go down. Oh man, MiTH Trust killing the Roshan so slowly that Ysera was caught off guard. Storm Spirit's going to go down.
This was like, oh man, how often do you see that you actually manage to get the kill and get away with Roshan just because you did it so damn slow? Ysera, his intentions were good, but Lakels, he was already strength morphing because I think they knew the Storm Spirit was around as well. So just in case, of course, Insidious in the meantime, trying to go for tier 2, but they are lacking a little bit of mana for the Massive Rewards. Now they finally get it. And well, is it gonna be yet another of the tier 2 for Roshan trades?
Oh, it seems like it will be. Chibix doesn't have any backup plan, and it looks like everyone's going to teleport away. After killing the tower, of course. They're going to try to defend mid once again, but I don't really know if this is possible. It's very, very low, and not in deny range just yet, but they're going to commit to this one. No split, as Storm Spirit does jump way in. Shagasaurus can land 2-man hoofstomp as well. Burrow Strike is a slowdown with Ysera, but it's not going to be enough to save his allies. SD is now on the run. Ball ending forward from Ysera is going to kill off the Sand King. MyPro with the haste rune. Yeah, she's going to be just fine, the Death Prophet, but everyone else is going to go down. That was pretty disastrous from the MiTH side. You have to respect the initiation range of the Storm Spirit, plus a Blink Dagger Centaur. It's just overwhelming if you don't expect it.
Yeah, extremely well done by Insidious Ultimates taking a fight like that. Might be able to pressure a tier 2 now potentially. Actually, they're picking out tier 1 on the bottom lane, which definitely is the easier and safer choice, I guess. But looking at the graphs now, which we haven't done yet, I think, it is a 2000 gold lead now for Insidious Idol, just going up and down quite a lot here. XP actually was about a 4,500 swing before as well, now closing in on 0 once again. Still a 1000 lead for MiTH, actually, never mind. Now that it updates, only 500. Oh! They get the hoofstomp double H to kills, but they got the strength off before. So he's gonna be fine. But just the graphs. So this game is all sorts of crazy already.
Oh, they're going to go for round 2 on Lakels. He does have an Aegis, so even if they catch him, it's going to be an Aegis respawn. But taking that one for free is going to be really nice for the Insidious side. It's one less thing to worry about in the future, and Morphling can only survive that so many times. At the same time, they're going to go for the bottom lane. They're probably not going to deploy the Serpent Wards here. They should have the initiation range with Ysera. I don't know if that Sack Remnant saw SD. Oh yeah, definitely did. I think they see him. He's going to Burrow Strike forward and start sandstorming. Nothing that the Insidious side could do about this. They don't have their Centaur, and the rest of MiTH, they are converging on this position. They don't, Insidious, have any teleportation support just yet. Naki's going to blow his smoke, and here comes the initiation onto KYT. Can they burst him down before he gets the split off? With the bubble, they won't be able to. Now the epicenter on Chibix. He's going to do a lot of damage. It will kill him off. Shaman is down. Ysera and Shu both going to take a lot of damage, both actually thrown up into the air. That's kind of hilarious. Ysera is the first one to drop, and he's going to try to teleport out. He should be fine unless a boulder's going to come. He will teleport before the boulder lands, and Shu now going to be in the most trouble. He is going to be pretty tanky, but I don't think he's tanky enough to survive all of these heroes. He's cursed up, and he will be brought down. That's going to be a 2-for-0 in favor of MiTH. I guess fortunately for enough Insidious, their Storm Spirit gets to survive, but they don't even get the tower off of this.
Yeah, and Shaman actually, I'm not too sure why he was holding on to the gold. He had like 2.6k gold when he died. I mean, he could have bought a Blink Dagger, maybe some wards as well to actually make sure you're not losing any gold at all pretty much, but he held on to it. But MiTH Trust is, both teams, it's like, first one team takes a favorable fight, then it's another one. They're taking turns at the moment. Net worth wise though, Death Prophet looking extremely good. MyPro has the Kiilstofte 1.7k on top of that. But the next 3 highest farmers will be on Insidious idols. Although MiTH, they have some pretty nice amount of farm as well, but when your second highest farmer is the Sand King, which is a support, and your Morphling is struggling as hard that he even has to go for a BKB straight out, it's still not looking all that good for them, since they're relying heavily on Death Prophet as well as just the Sand King for the damage at the moment now.
Yeah, Morphling's going to be pretty much a dead hero for the next 10-15 minutes of the game. Even when he gets his BKB, it's not really going to impact the game that much. Yes, he will be a lot more durable, but he still won't have any threat. They're going to continue the bottom lane push, and off to the side, they are going to Blossom look for Noki with the help of Shagasaurus. They're going to blow up the Shadow Demon. Now the ball in from the Ysera. They're going to do a lot of damage, and SD can't get anything off. KYT doesn't have a split either. He's going to get shackled up. Mech keeping everyone from Insidious very healthy, and the damage should be there to kill the Brewmaster at the same time. Blossom playing games with the kills as well as MyPro, but the Skywrath is going to survive, and that's going to be a 3-for-0 so far. Chibix doesn't have any more mana for a Blink Hex, but if he did, he would be looking for more kills right now.
Yeah, I mean, just probably gonna go purchases Arcane Boots now from the side shop as well, but man, they are taking turns indeed. Another favorable fight for Insidious Idol this time around. They might get the tier 2 on top of this though, potentially. Do they have Mass Serpent Ward? Yes, they do, so if they are willing to commit them, and indeed they are, so most likely will be a tower. They have 10 seconds before Brewmaster comes back up, and before that point, they really don't have any reason to back off, I think.
Yeah, this is a game where MiTH Trust are just 100% reliant on their ultimates because their Morphling doesn't have anything. So without their ultimates, i.e. the last fight, no epicenter, no split, they just can't even think about taking a fight right there. They are going to deny the tower, which is, I guess, a little bit of a nice win for the MiTH side, but the question is, can they get anything else? Sand King does have Burrow Strike, Blink Dagger, and Force Staff, so his initiation range is huge. Shagasaurus, though, is not going to get caught off guard so easily, and, well, MiTH, they are ready to fight because they have all their ultimates up. The only question is, can they actually find anyone? Because Storm Spirit, with his Orchid, is now going to be one of the deadliest initiators on Insidious. And that's even behind the Shadow Shaman with Blink Hex and the Centaur with Blink Stomp. So MiTH Trust, they would like to get the initiations off themselves, but I don't really know if that's feasible.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. I mean, Shadow Demon is building for an Orchid of his own actually, so that's what the double Sage's Mask was for. Double Oblivion Staff. He has one finished. Definitely not going too fast on the Orchid, I think, unless they start taking some towers on top of the fights. But I mean, something else caught my eye, completely forgetting it at the moment. But I mean, in any case, oh yeah, the Centaur, the Vitality Booster. Do you think it's going to be a casual one, or is he building something like a pipe next instead, or just straight off Heart of Tarrasque?
Well, I mean, he's holding on to a lot of gold. If it was going to be a pipe, he probably would have had most of it already. Lakel's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get Orchided and Stampeded. Mystic Flare is going to be slightly off the mark, but it's going to be more than enough to kill him off. Ysera's low on mana. We'll get Burrow Strike. Force Staff out, though. KYT is going to jump for it and split, but he's only going to be able to kill off the Skywrath. I think this is actually pretty good for Insidious. Trading 1 for 1, but also pulling out the Brewmaster Ultimate and potentially going for more as Shagasaurus rotating in. Now they're going to reconsider, but all things said and done, the Morphling is going to go down, and really that's the only goal for Insidious. Losing the Skywrath Mage is pretty much irrelevant.
Yeah, I don't think they really care. I mean, Skywrath Mage didn't even lose any gold pretty much since he has the Force Staff, or just finished up the Force Staff before that fight. So, Insidious they're doing everything correct at the moment. I mean, there's only one outer tower remaining also. Yes, one got denied, but it's still map control going in the way for you. So, MiTH, they're just climbing an uphill, or fighting an uphill battle at the moment. Look at the graphs again. It is a 3,000 gold lead for Insidious Idol. XP actually zeroed out. So it's a little bit more even than I thought, but kill-wise 21 and 17, I guess this is one of the rare games when the kill score actually reflects what's going on pretty much.
Yeah, and MiTH, they just have to pretty much hold it at this. They can't afford to get, drowned in kills much longer. Their Morphling is very slowly but surely getting those kills, and, well, they're going to annihilate that illusion. They invest the Mystic Flare into it, and so a little bit of mana down the drain for the Skywrath Mage, ultimately going to really kill that Morphling replicate, but now they're looking for a fight MiTH. They probably shouldn't because they don't have a split, so they want to stall this as long as possible. Lakelz doesn't have a BKB finished either, so this Morphling is going to be pretty tanky and very hard to kill, but at the same time is not going to be doing any damage. The push is going to come, and jibix is going to deploy Serpent Wards. I don't know if MiTH should defend this. I don't even know if they can defend this. SD off to the side is going to be their best bet with a nice epicenter, but he's on the wrong side of this fight if he wants to land it. Lakelz going to get silenced up, and he will get force staffed out for now, so he's going to be just fine. The tower is going to survive, it looks like. At least the Serpent Wards won't kill them off. Lakelz can hit pretty hard with the Plasma Field, and he's going to take a lot of chip damage. Strength Morph or not, this Morphling probably taking a little bit too much right here in Insidious. Well, they're looking for a blink in for KYT. Now he gets split off. They waited long enough, and now they're going to go two-man silence as well, throwing Shagasaurus up into the air. Chu's going to take the rock, however, Horse Staff will keep him safe. They're going to go for the Centaur. Once he does land, he'll be able to blink out Bo, and then maybe not. He's going to get hit with the Adaptive Strike as soon as he lands. Stomp into the Morphling, but it is going to be the death of Shagasaurus. Still, the Brewmaster's running wild. Colossus going to get thrown up into the air. Where's the rest of Insidious? They're all on the south. They're going to throw the Mystic Flare, hitting absolutely nothing. Here comes jibix. Going to land a Hex onto someone, but I don't really think it's going to matter with two-man Burrow Strike from the Sand King. They're going to take both those heroes now. Ysera, the last one alive, going to burn the rest of his mana to try to teleport out. He will stick the landing, it seems, but MiTH, they take a fantastic defense. They stalled out long enough for the Brewmaster to get his split online, and it worked out so very well for them.
Man, it's just they could have just ran left center to die there, but for some reason, I guess Skywrath Mage would have gotten caught anyway as well, potentially, but other than that, I really think jibix together with Chu, they should not have stuck around, should have just made Hightail out of there immediately. So 4 kills given away. The tier 2 tower did drop pretty damn low, but it's a worthy trade, and now with the next exorcism, I think MiTH, they just scouted out that Roshan has respawned with the illusions. So probably next exorcism might go into Rosh. And actually, BKB also finished on MyPro. Lakelz, does he have his own? About 600 gold away on the Morphling. So Morphling is still struggling extremely hard, but keep taking fights like that, and you'll be back in the game in no time.
Yeah, and at least he didn't die. That's a little bit of a shining light for MiTH, in that yes, they took the fight, but also they're going to be more prepared for future fights. So eventually the fights are going to come so that MiTH don't have the split and epicenter that are going to be able to land perfectly, and at that point it's going to be a lot of the weight falling onto Lakelz's shoulders. They're going to throw the Storm Spirit up into the air, silence him, and Burst Strike him. Demonic Purge, they're going to burst down Ysera before anything else. SD is going to be the trade, but can they get anything else? MyPro with the BKB up is going to throw another Quick Storm onto Shagasaurus. They don't have any lockdown. KYT is going to try to get in close for a Blink Clap. I don't really think it's going to be in time. He will land it after an Adaptive Strike. Shagasaurus is going to be critted, and now he's going to be brought down most likely with MyPro deploying the Exorcism. They're going to lose a Shadow Demon, and Shagasaurus is actually still alive as Jude going to town onto MyPro. I don't think he's going to be able to get this kill, but the Brewmaster will secure a couple off to the side. Pelossin's going to be swarmed with Brewlings, and he's going to be brought down. That's a 2-for-3 trade thus far, and it looks like it's going to be a 2-for-3 trade ending, as jibix as well as Shu considering going back in, but probably shouldn't. Once again, the Morphling survives, gets a kill and a couple of assists, and with the rest of the Exorcism, they're going to try to go for Roshan. It's another nice win for MiTH.
Yeah, it definitely is, man. Only losing supports, like you mentioned, it's always a worthy trade. As jibix, he will find the double damage room, getting thrown up in the air though, gonna lose his life roll. Actually, the waveform, the timing is a little bit off, but makes a little difference by the end as the kill is there. They won't get Roshan though, because, well, without the Exorcism, they just don't have enough damage output. But Lakelz will have his own BKB finished. jibix getting closer to, I guess, his own BKB as well, not even going for the Street of Aghanims maybe. Or KYT, rather. So they are getting the next set of items. Shadow Demon only about 400-500 gold away from his Orchid actually being finished. And Storm Spirit, he's going for a BKB, but still a pretty long way away from it.
Once he has that, he'll be able to very comfortably even get thrown up into the air with the Yule Scepter, knowing that he can pop the BKB on landing, and most likely fight his way out, or just ball lightning out. So this game is just turning into just an utter slugfest. These teams are just trading blows one after another. And MiTH Trust, they have the Epicenter available right now, but not quite the split. Really, it's up to Insidious to find a timing where the MiTH Trust side don't have their ultimates up, or don't have 1 or 2 ultimates up, and then try to take a fight off of that. Because Insidious, though their ultimates are really helpful, the Eye of the Storm, the Stampede, Serpent Wards, and stuff like that, the Storm Spirit will always have his ultimate up as long as he has mana, and really the cooldowns from Insidious are in general a lot lower than MiTH, so it's up to Insidious to try to find that timing where MiTH do not have their cooldowns. And MiTH, they're going to have to just play defensively, and it's really going to be them on the defensive in between their cooldowns, whereas right now they do have everything available, so potentially they can make something happen, but I think both teams are going to be content to just chill for now.
Yeah, they probably will. I mean, maybe the tier 2 tower in CSI will actually want to come in to chip at it. Or if not commit any heroes, at least just push out the lanes, which actually they are doing pretty nicely, pushing out 3 lanes at the same time. Whereas Chibix and Poloson, they're angling for some solo kills on the top side. Mid lane, Chu did push in the lane, but MiPro gonna tank it up himself. Heart of the Rest finished on Shagasaurus though. And actually, they did get the kill onto Lakel as well. I thought that I thought they actually won't be able to do it even with the 2 of them, but I was wrong.
Yeah, the 2 supports killing off the enemy core. I thought they also wouldn't have enough damage, but now they're going to go into Chew for retaliation. The Stampede, though, is going to keep Razor, for the most part, just fine, and also reinforce the 2 supports coming up from the top lane. So this Brewmaster kind of left to dry. The rest of the MiTH, they're not really in a good position. Sandking is going to run to Palosan as well as Chibix. He's going to force staff his way out of there, and now Ysera is going to come in, annihilate Nucky and MiPro almost at the exact same time. The Brewmaster, Sandking, they're the only ones that are left, and they're going to be forced to blink away. That's a 3-for-0 exchange in favor of Insidious. Really, a lot of that has to do with the fact that Centaur Stampede is just so good versus the Brewmaster split. They're going to even consider going high ground now. Serpent Wards are not available, but they'll be able to put a lot of damage onto this tower because MiTH, they can't fight without their Death Prophet, and she's down for another 35 seconds. She doesn't have a buyback either.
Yeah, I think Chibix actually made a pretty huge mistake there, popping the Mass Serpent Wars for the tier 2, which had like 250 HP remaining as it was. Otherwise, with the Mass Serpent Wars, we've been easy racks here. Like you mentioned, there's no buybacks on MiTH. Lakel's is coming in, and in style they're gonna back off, but it could have been racks here. It still went pretty good for them. I mean, 3 kills, tier 2, plus a tier 3 on top of it. And oh, the blink! They get the Hex, not the Hex, the Silence though. Hoofstomp did get the stun on the Ysera with his BKB. He's going for Lakel's as well, probably just making Morphling worry a little bit. And actually, they got the PKB to Bob. Might get Shagasaurus though. He's gonna get Demonic Burst up. The mech comes through. The Burrow Strike is there as well. Shagasaurus is just so damn tanky with his heart. And just stampedes his way out of there. Or does he Lakel's? Wants to catch up. Hoofstomp is there and Shagasaurus is gonna get the blink out. So they get another kill. They get the BKB out of Lakel's. The 10-second one. And just overall a huge victory for Insidious Idols.
Yeah, we take a look at how the gold and experience crafts have been spiking so much throughout this game. Finally, it's something a little bit more decisive for Insidious. So they do start to crack the base, and I don't really think they could depend on that fight happening all the time. The epicenter wasn't used by the Sand King. He was kind of just very far away from the Brewmaster, but Insidious, they are pretty comfortable with where they are right now. The Brewmaster's going to have his ultimate soon enough, as will the Death Prophet. So if another fight does break out, it's going to be a lot coming down to the initiation, who gets blinks on who, and who stuns who first. So it's going to be mostly up to that. Also, this Roshan, being eyed by both teams, I don't know if Insidious really want to risk a Roshan fight. As good as Storm Spirit is around this pit, the epicenter as well as the exorcism is just so much more devastating. So they're going to instead smoke up and try to loop around. So MiPro might be caught out because Insidious, they're coming around from the north. Or are they? They're thinking about coming around from the north. They're not going to come around at all. It's going to be Noki who's going to take the brunt of this. This Shao Demon's actually pretty farmed. He has almost Orchid. He's going to pop the smoke of Palosan and see the fact that he did do that. So MiTH Trust, they are going to be perfectly aware of the situation. MiPro, though, might get jumped on by Ysera. He's going to jump right into the middle of everything. BKB, they are up from everyone. Now the epicenter not being charged up just yet, but the split is going to be happening. Noki is already down, however, and Ysera in a BKB form, not taking too much damage. Is Chew on the front lines, warding everyone away. SD now at the epicenter can do quite a bit of damage to Shagasaurus, although he misses the Burrow Strike. Shagasaurus is going to shrug that one off very, very easily. Still everyone's alive. Chew, though, not going to be alive for so long. Because MiPro's exorcism damage did start to take up. Ysera now coming around, going to spot MiPro and Lakel's. Damage onto MiPro is going to be huge. The Yule Scepter will keep him alive, as well as the Yule Scepter up, or the Burst Strike onto Ysera. The Death Prophet does go down, though the healing can't come fast enough, and KYT now back in this fight, as is Chibix. KYT can try to make something happen, but it's ultimately going to be a 1v3. Lakel's buying back into this fight. He's going to try to help his Brewmaster as he does wave for him in for Chibix. BKB up on Lakel's. Will kill off the Shadow Shaman, but KYT is going to go down in response. Here comes Sand King buying back as well. Going to try to go for Shagasaurus. The buyback from MiPro going to rejoin him into the fight. Lakel's doing literally nothing to Shagasaurus. He gets thrown up into the air with the Yule Scepter, though, and I don't think he could survive this one. Has a hoof stomp, but he's going to need a blink timing to get out of here. He will go down in the end. MiTH Trust, they kind of salvaged that fight, but that was at the cost of many, many buybacks, and I don't even know if they could take Roshan after this. They don't have any damage.
Yeah, if they're gonna do it, it's gonna be extremely slow for them. I mean, they just, like I said, they don't have any damage, no sources of minus armor since Nokia is trying to go for the Orchid still. And funny enough, he actually had the double Oblivion staff like 23 minutes in, but just because of the continuous deaths and having to buy some boards in between as well, he's still at the same amount pretty much. And oh, Ysera is gonna come back in. He's gonna get stunned up immediately, though silenced up as well. He's gonna go down. I think the mech actually keeps him alive with the BKB. He does make it out just barely though, too. In some trouble, gonna get thrown up in the air by the Kiilstofte, but Hex, Shock into MiTH, somehow alive as well. Noki will finally go down. Now Lakels, he's gonna get shackled, Mystic Flare on top of his head. Actually, nice Freeman Burrow Strike, but now he's in the middle of 4 enemy heroes. They have the Dust and the Sentry. So 3 heroes down. MiPro, yes, he makes it out, but they still lose 3 for it.
And they might even lose Roshan as well. They don't have the most HP, the Insidious side. That fight actually took a lot from them. The Burrow Strike at the end not really helping, but they're going to try to go for it anyway. Mech is going to be up in 10 seconds, and Roshan, there's no response from MiTH. KYT, in theory, can come over and try to help out with try to crash them with a Blink Clap Split. I don't think he knows it, but everyone on Insidious are very low, and they will probably die, or 1 or 2 heroes will die if that happens, but in the end, MiTH are going to be forced to concede this Roshan. Ysera with an Aegis now is going to be playing just so recklessly because he can't afford to do so. And MiTH, they were fighting pretty hard in this game, but now the lead is decisively in favor of Insidious, especially with this Aegis on their side. They have pretty much everything that they need except for, proper health pools and mana pools on their heroes. Yet they could still go for this push, knowing that the Morphling and Sand King are both down and both without buyback.
Yeah, I think they're just gonna push the lane in or try to regen up, like you said. They are lacking a little bit of mana as well as health. I guess the regeneration isn't all that bad for them, but Ysera had to give away the bottle just to pick up the Aegis. But at least this mana regeneration is coming in. And man, if they can somehow make it so that Death Prophet actually pops his Exorcism but doesn't manage to get the BKB off and burst him down immediately, even if he did have buyback at that time, it wouldn't really matter. But it's on cooldown anyway, so man, MiTH, they're in just such a shitty position, to be honest.
Yeah, they just need to play it super defensively and rely 100% almost on the Epicenter or the Sand King as well as the Brewmaster split in order to single-handedly win them fights. Again, that's going to be really difficult because of the fact that Stampede is on the field. So MiTH, they have to play this super defensively. They need more farm in this Morphling because Morphling essentially is less useful than the Shadow Demon. He's pretty much doing no damage. He's very tanky. You cannot easily be killed, but I don't think the enemies really need to kill him either. So they need more time for this Morphling to get something to do damage, and they also need MiPro to not die right now. Shagasaurus in the Invis rune, he's going to spot MiPro. There's the Hoof Stomp as well as the double-edged Mystic Flare. Goodbye, Death Prophet. Stampede just for shits and giggles, as Death Prophet's now down for a minute without buyback. Insidious, their Storm Spirit is not very healthy, but he has Aegis, so I think it's going to be barrel down the mid lane time for Insidious.
Yeah, they have the Aghanim's buffed up Mass Serpent Wards now as well from Chibix. Actually, I guess they may want to push in top lane instead. Not too sure if they are aware that the Death Prophet's buyback is on cooldown. I mean, they should be, since he did buyback and it hasn't been 6 minutes. There's still another 2 minutes, 20 seconds left on it. But they're playing it safe at the moment. And without just the Exorcism, they need the biggest epicenter of SD's life really to defend this.
4-man Burrow Strike Epicenter or bust, and that's a tall order for any hero, let alone a Sand King. Maybe a Tide Hunter would be able to do it, like, land a 4-man Ravage because the AoE is so monstrous, but Sand King, probably not as much, especially with Centaur on the front lines, happily tanking the tower because he's eating all that damage with the heart. And now the melee racks are going to be under siege. These Serpent Wards are taking huge chunks out at a time, and MiTH looks like they're just going to sacrifice the Raxes. They can't fight without their Death Prophet, and this is probably the right move, as awkward as it is to say. Now they have a chance, and they do Epicenter in with SD, but it's only onto Shagasaurus, split onto him as well. He does get stampeded, but here comes Sarah, gonna go straight for SD, and will blow up the Sand King before anything else. On the Sand King already did use his payload, not gonna matter that much. Lakel's gonna put into the bubble, and Ploson almost 100-0ing the Morphling by himself. Now the Morphling in his BKB form, but he can't afford to fight. That's 2 down for MiTH already, plus the Rax is down. MiPro with the Exorcism up is doing less than nothing, and Lakel's has got to back off. I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming, yes, it's a GG call. MiTH, unfortunately, they fall to Insidious after a very tight game.
Yeah, just the start in Insidious cut was a little bit too good. I mean, winning the tri lane hands down, as well as bottom lane. I guess it wasn't a decisive victory of the Razor over the Brewmaster, but still, Razor having the better time of it. And just really that one gank into the mid lane where MiTH lost 3 of their heroes, and suddenly Sarah got his level 6 on the Storm Spirit and some nice gold from it. From there on, it just got so much harder for MiTH to just strike back, and well, Morphling 4, 10, and 12. Just no farm at all, pretty much.
Yeah, really rough game for MiTH, and they had some pretty good team fights, but relying 100% on your Sand King and Brewmaster, basically fighting 4v5 throughout the entire game, you're going to be at a disadvantage, and you were already at a disadvantage before you even started fighting 4v5, so it was a good attempt from MiTH, but unfortunately this tiebreaker is going to go the way of Insidious Idol, and they're going to be moving on to the JDL Season 3 finals, or the Asian Division finals.
Yeah, they're going to be playing in the quarterfinal against Invasion, I want to say, who lost the tiebreaker against First Departure. So the quarterfinals, whenever it's going to be played, it's going to be Insidious Idol versus Invasion in a best of 3. So should be lots of fun. Hopefully they'll play it soon as well, not like last time around for Season 2 when the playoffs started like 1 month or a month and a half after the season ended. But in any case, guys, thank you so much for just tuning in and supporting HeflaTV as well as the Join Dota League. Always a pleasure to cast for you guys, and this is going to be it for now for this channel. At 19 CEST, Central European Summertime, HeflaTV 2 will go online with Compass Gaming versus Bennett +5 for the JDL Division 1 and 2 playoffs. Mike, I think, will be casting it.
Yep.
So you can tune in there at 19, so in about 2 hours or so. But in any case, if you like this, you can always follow us. All the necessary links are below the stream. And of course, Mike Loris, where can people find you?
Well, I'm at Mike Loris on Twitter, Mike Loris on Twitch as well, though most often you're going to find me here. So be sure to hit that follow button, guys, on HeflaTV 1 and HeflaTV 2, so you get notifications when we go online. And I think that's just about it for now. More games in a couple hours, but I think it's not going to be... We're not going to keep the streams on or anything like that.
Yeah, that is correct. So guys, see you in about 2 hours on HeflaTV 2, and for now, just have a good one.
GG, guys.